the outside for Poland, the 23-year-old, has only run 54.1 this year. Her lifetime best, though, is 52.0, so she may improve her season's best here. Amila Rowe of Australia, third in their championships, just 18 years old, the Aussie. She goes in lane 8. Her first race in the Northern Hemisphere this. She's got to be nervous. Gabby Scott of Puerto Rico goes in lane 7. 51.06. She ran on the 19th of April, but she's a 50.5 athlete, is Gabby Scott. There's Evelis Aguiar, 32 years old. She's improved massively this year. 49.80 at altitude in Bogota back in early April. She only made the quarterfinals in Paris, 52.8 last year. Natalia Bukowiecka, there she is. A real star of Polish athletics. Twice Olympic silver medalist in Tokyo 21 in both relays. She was second in Doha recently. That was only 3 weeks ago or so. 50.92. Good lane draw, too, for her in lane 5. Sveti Ercetic, another Polish heroine. European champion back in 2018 in Berlin. She's on 51.2 this year, within a second of her lifetime best. Lauren Gale of Canada goes in lane 3, 51.0 this season, but she's a 50.4 athlete at her best. That's a good lane draw for Gale. Lada Vondrova, the Czech, European under-23 champion back in 2021, the former footballer who goes in lane 2. And then Anastasia Kush, just 18 years old. She ran leg 3 at the World Indoors in Nanjing for Poland when they took the silver medal in the 4x400 meters. She's already got big experience just a few weeks ago in China in a global championships. Our season's best, though, Kuz in lane 1, just 53.06. She has run 51.8. That was last year. So Kuz in 1. Lada Vondrova, former European under-23 champion in 2 for the Czech Republic. The Canadian Gale in 3. Sveti Ercetic in 4. Watch her. Can she find her best form? Natalia Bukowiecka goes in lane 5 for Poland. Favorite, I guess, here. Aguilar of Colombia in 6. Puerto Rican Scott in 7. Rowe of Australia 8. The Pole Gachka in lane 9 on the outside.
Set.
Well, Bukowiecka loves to run aggressively. Her season's best 50.9. She ran 48.9 last year at the London Diamond League. There she is in the all-red centre of picture. She's gone off pretty hard, moving up alongside Aguilar of Colombia. Sveti Ercetic has got a lot of work to do at the moment in lane 4. Going well, Scott of Puerto Rico out in lane 7. She eases past Gachka, the youngster, out in lane 9 in the yellow. But a nice balanced race from Bukowiecka so far. Brilliant running in lane 3 from Gale of Canada. What an aggressive 300 she's run so far. She hasn't broken 51 seconds this year, but she might have to here. Now she begins to tread water as Bukowiecka, who's judged this one perfectly, moves through in the red there in lane 5. Going away from the field, a real battle royal for the minor places. She wins it 50.45. Brilliant run from Lauren Gale, who just started treading water over the last 50 or 60. And then great running and a real battle for third place there towards the outer lanes. But what time has she been confirmed with? 50.44 there for Natalia Bukowiecka. It is a big season's best for her. She has run a second and a half quicker than that, so there's so much more to come. But that puts her up in about 15th place on the world rankings this year. Very, very competent indeed. You know, Hannah, one of the features of her racing is she runs beautifully balanced races. She stays strong down the home straight. And that skill of spreading your strength and ability throughout the full distance eludes so many athletes.
No, Bukowiecka, she's always reliable in that last 50 metres. And that's a big chunk off her season's best. And she seems to measure the season well as well. It's not only each race, it's as we move through every month and you get closer to a big championships. She just rounds into form. And I think Bukowiecka was part of those relay squads for so long that were picking up medals. And then there was just a change in her attitude a couple of years ago. And she went, no, look, I can get my individual medals. And she almost had to take a step back from her relay commitments to kind of unleash that form and be able to get herself on global podiums. And she picked up a small injury indoors, if you remember as well. She was due to do a full...
25, which would be a shame. She's been a brilliant athlete her whole career and would be, or is, enjoying being part of Grand Slam. Sian Salmon, decent draw for her in 7 years. She was 6th in the hurdle event. Just need to judge this right, the athletes. I think Sydney will certainly be able to do that. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, done this so many times. Such a great exponent over all the sprints, never mind with there's hurdles in the way. Rochelle Clayton, the 32-year-old Jamaican, has run a flat 400 already this year in a fairly swift 52.3 thereabouts. Not too far off that personal best you can see in the caption. Adrianette Knight, her teammate, similarly indoors for her though, 52.8. Normally you run quicker outdoors than indoors. So this is Peters of the Netherlands, a big part of the Dutch very successful 4x4 and mixed 4x4 squad that does so well at Olympics and Worlds. And then Cassandra Tate of the USA on the inside. Just might find the others moving away from her here, particularly I think with Peters in the lane 3. Just got held a little bit longer by the starter there, but they're away and gone. McLaughlin-Levrone already making up ground, and we've just had a pull-up from Rochelle Clayton, who's pulled up in the first 100 meters, maybe trying to hang on to the American, who knows. Going very quickly, Cassandra Tate, right on the inside, has started exceptionally quickly through the first 200 meters. But it's McLaughlin-Levrone out in lane 6, smoothly making their way around the top bend. Cassandra Tate, eyed on the inside, has run an excellent first 300, but is she going to pay for that as they come into the wind in the home straight? Sydney out on her own as we expected it to be, then it's going to be a real scrap for the minor places behind her. Tate is just starting to tread water in the home straight there, but it's Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone who's going to come through to make it 2 wins in the women's long hurdles. It's 50.32. Knight just took 2nd place. It was tough out there. The wind was never going to make that easy, but the victory was never really in doubt. It was just a case of how quick and by how far. Well, the answer was almost 2 seconds, which in the 400 meters is a long, long way. It has to be said, though, that Knight has run her season's best, and Dalilah Muhammad in the 52-second mark. But there's our winner. There's our slam winner, our final slam winner of the first Grand Slam track. As we said, if you're going to run that quick for 400 hurdles, of course you can run quick on the flat.
Yeah, being able to run 48 seconds in the flat 4 as a 4 hurdler is unheard of. She ran 22 seconds into a headwind in the 200 last season. So speed-wise, she's not even comparable to some of these women out here. So I think she may even surprise us later on in the year and say, look, I'm going to go to the World Championships to run the 4.
Or maybe the 800.
I don't know about that.
I would love to see her run an 800 or 2, but I don't know if she wants to.
But I mean, really, just going through the motions here and just securing the money, you know, it's an easy 400,000 for her if she goes through all 4 and dominates the way she's doing. But if she wants to really test herself and test some of the other competitors and show what she could do in other events, she's gonna jump in that long sprints and go against some of those other women in that 4 and that deuce.
Well, MJ enjoyed it. You may hear the party's already started here in the stadium. There was a big win that Cassandra Tate went through the first 300 meters. She must have only been about 4 or 5 meters behind her, but look.
In the second part, the focus shifts from simply describing the results to a deeper comparison of 2 completely different types of races. What matters here is not just who won, but how the victory was achieved, through adaptation and tactical awareness, or through total control from the very start. The race in Bydgoszcz unfolds as an intense battle, where each athlete tries to impose her own pace. From the opening meters, the speed is high, and it becomes clear that no one is willing to wait. This turns the race into a kind of high-speed chess match, where every decision can influence the final outcome. Lauren Gale takes the initiative and sharply increases the pace, especially through the 300-meter mark. This bold move disrupts the rhythm of the race and forces the other athletes out of their comfort zones, making them react rather than execute their own plans. However, such an aggressive start comes at a cost. As the runners approach the final stretch, fatigue builds up, form begins to break down, and speed inevitably drops. This is where the true skill of energy distribution becomes decisive. Against this backdrop, Natalia Bukowiecka takes a different approach. She remains composed, resists the early chaos, and gradually increases her speed at exactly the right moment. Her finish is not a desperate sprint, but a calculated and controlled execution of her race plan. In contrast, the race in Kingston presents a completely different picture. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone takes control from the very beginning and leaves no room for competition. She doesn't react to her rivals, she dictates the race. Her performance looks technically flawless, consistent rhythm, smooth hurdle clearance, and no visible mistakes even under challenging conditions. It feels as though she is not racing others, but pushing against her own limits.